Well, good evening. This is Dwan. I'm Dwan along with Chuck and Rita, and we are here for Experience Mid-Valley Fellowship, our kind of weekly check-in to about what's happening in Tuesday night support groups. And so tonight, Chuck, you're facilitating a lesson, correct?
Yes, in Clean Heart Year 2, it's about helping your wife through her struggle.
Okay. What is Clean Heart? What
Clean Heart Year 2 is the second year of our program for people suffering with a pornography addiction or a sexual addiction, and so.
Yeah, and so wives go through a lot, kind of as their spouse is dealing with that, correct?
As you know, yes, as the husband shares with the wife, it causes certain reactions in the wife, which we helped cause it. We should help them through it.
What's one of the things that they're kind of suggesting that can help their wife kind of navigate through?
Knowing where she's coming from and how she looks at things almost in the reverse of what a man would look at them. And so they have to, instead of looking at it through their eyes, they have to look at it through her eyes and come together and be willing to just listen and not try and help and heal and show her the way, but let her talk to them and let them know how she's feeling.
Yeah, so it's kind of that place of empathy and kind of really caring and walking alongside in that.
Yes.
That's
yes.
good. Cool. Sweet. And Rita, who are you facilitating for? What group?
It's called Mending the Soul.
And what is Mending the Soul focused on?
It's a program to help people that have been abused get healing from that.
Mm-hmm. So what's the topic that you're digging into tonight?
Tonight is, and next week is going to be on abusive families.
Okay.
Because abuse doesn't happen in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people experience abuse at home. And when it's in a home situation, when it's with family, it's treated a little bit differently. There's a lot of secrets. There's a lot of lying.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of the position of power shifts depending upon who's doing the abusing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a hard getting healing from, in my mind, from family abuse is really, really difficult.
Sure. Well, and certainly there's this place of like we only know what we've experienced, and so we can kind of feel like it's normal if we haven't experienced anything different.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that in turn can often, the victim then can become an abuser as well, just because that's the only thing they know.
Yeah. So this lesson is good about kind of showing and demonstrating like, hey, this is what an abusive family looks like, so we can be aware of it and not kind of repeat it in our own situations, our own families.
Exactly. And,
Yeah.
and we also make sure that we bring God into the situation, because
Sure.
He is our ultimate healer, and without His help, we just don't heal properly. And so
Yeah.
it's a really cool program. I went
Yeah.
through it, and it was very, very painful. At the same time, it was exceedingly helpful and life-changing.
Cool. Yeah. And so I'll be facilitating Clean Heart Year 1, which is the first year of the program that Chuck's doing the second year for. And we're going to be talking about kind of the road to addiction, kind of what does that look like in each person's life. And there's this aspect of that we have our left brain and right brain, and one's more the analytical, logical, and the other part's more the creative aspect. And so they're really challenging the guys to engage with the creative piece, because a lot of things that come along with addiction and brokenness and trauma are those emotional things which are on the non-logical side of the brain, as it were. And so by engaging in that, they can kind of look at their road to addiction, see how they ended up where they are, and then also beginning to have a vision for what does my road to recovery look like, what are the things that are important along the way as I'm moving towards recovery. And so we're going to be doing that tonight. It's wrapped around the picture of the prodigal son returning, and how the father responds to the prodigal son, and just how counterintuitive that is when we're talking about addiction, to really grasp that God loves us and that He receives us back and forgives us in the midst of significant brokenness. So we'll also be digging into some other topics and taking back ground, and also in Hope Together, which Hope Together is for our wives whose husbands are dealing with pornography or sexual addiction. Taking Back Ground is for men and women struggling with unwanted same-sex desires. And so that's a little bit of what's going to be happening tonight. We value your prayers as always, so please do that for us. This is a spiritual battle. I like to remind people of that God has a design and an intent for us in our relationships and sexuality, and the enemy wants to destroy that. And so we're helping people take back those places that the enemy has stolen. So we value your prayers. Encourage you to share this video, like it, and all those things to help other people be aware of it as well. And we will see you next week for Experience Mid Valley Fellowship. Thanks.